are going to talk about our favorite true wireless earphones of 2022. And we got a big list here at a lot of different price points, but let's start out with what's on the screen now. This is the Sennheiser CX. And why did this one make the list?
Well, this one made the list. There are actually three models in this line that you'd be excused for not knowing which one was which. There's the CX, the CX Plus, and then the Momentum 3 that all look very similar. The Momentum's got a little higher in case, but the CX is the base model, and it made our list because it's the entryway into wireless in-ears at $79. It's going to be hard to beat these. We had a couple of models that fit at this low end, and the CX was one of them that fit in the $79 bracket. I think there's an Edifier that we'll hit a little bit later on that also fits in that $79 bracket. But this one made the list because it's the about the cheapest entry point into this that is going to be substantially better than what comes with most phones these days.
And Will mentioned fit, and I think that's a big reason we both like this, the sound and the actual fit. A lot of them are the AirPod style, but the fit of these, when I tried them, they almost disappeared in my ear, and they're still very easy to use and functional with.
All right, we're going to jump around a bit, but I think $79.99 is the least expensive one on the list. And jumping into beyerdynamic, I think, Lynn, you reviewed these.
Yes,
why did these make the list?
Yep, the Freebird. Beyerdynamic had they kind of set back and let the other companies put their TWS out, and then they went, okay, now that we know where the market's going, we'll come up with our own. They have a pretty decent ANC, active noise canceling, but they also have the quality beyerdynamic sound. And function-wise, they're very easy to use. It was very intuitive use. Some of the TWS buds we've had over the last year have not been real easy to use. These, I put them in, I hooked them up, and I was going in literally less than a minute, and that was from right out of the box. Sound-wise, I think they compete very, very well at this price. And I'll be honest, I can't remember what the actual price is. I want to say $249, something along those lines, $239. But for that price, to me, they're a definite step up from the Sennheiser sound quality wise, with the ease of use and a pretty decent ANC technology.
All right. We got a lot on this list. Oh, there's another view of the beyerdynamic Freebird.
Nice case too. Nice tactile case. So.
Yeah, and they're $229 is the
$229. All right. Another model, the Bowers & Wilkins Pi7.
Well, we've jumped over everything in between and gone straight to the high end here. Okay, these are a $400 in-ear. So we're at the luxury bracket now, but these were actually our winner in the luxury bracket, and I think both Lynn and I came away with the same impression of these. So
$399, top of the line, true wireless. How is the noise canceling on these? What are they really good at for $399?
Sound. I think they sound. I would call it a slightly richer signature than the beyerdynamic we just covered. Again, the ease of use, the learning curve on these is really good. The ANC, they're known from the other videos. Their over-ear wireless headphones have really, really good ANC technology. That has trickled down into this model, and it competes very well, in my estimation, with one of our other top categories, which will come up. But I think it's just the overall product, the whole package of this, the sound, the ANC, and the fit. And I keep coming back to that, but to me, fit is a very big part of being happy with the TWS choice of yours.
All right.
Yeah, I would agree with what Lynn had said too. The other thing I would add is that these stay put very well. So I would not have any concern about wearing these while out, doing other things, whereas there are a couple of these that they sound great, but they don't stay in your ear particularly well if you're out being active. So that kind of is a detractor. So these are a good overall package.
Very well, yeah.
Our next model, the Ultimate Ears Drops. Now, this one's a pretty interesting one, and I know Lynn's been trying these out. So, what's unique about Ultimate Ears Drops?
Well, first of all, they're custom. I'm wearing them right now. In a previous video we did, both of you commented on the very, very good audio quality. Ultimate Ears now is known for their custom in ears for musicians and for audiophiles. They take a digital sample, or you can send in your own model, like a regular model, and then it's a true custom model. So they don't have ANC technology per se. They use the custom fit in your ear to knock out any outside noises. So of all of these here, this is probably the closest to a true I say true audiophile sound, but a wired audiophile sound of any of the others without inhibiting technologies like ANC. Um, I love these. I use them pretty much every day, and I have others that I should be using, but I always come back to these. The fit is excellent. The controls are easy. Um, the sound quality
Right.
is a wired version or a wireless version of their higher end wired version models.
Yeah, the drawback on these, of course, is they are custom, so you can't share them. They're molded to one person's ears, so if you want to share with your friends, that's not going to work. And anytime you get into custom bespoke products, there's a price tag to be paid. So these are, again, right there with the Pi7 in the $400 and some range. So not inexpensive, but certainly in the realm of, custom in-ears, not ridiculous either. They're
Right.
a good,
So, how do
good
you get
balance.
the custom? I think people probably have that question. How do you get the custom fit? Do you have to go somewhere to get that done?
Actually, not anymore. Talk to Ultimate Ears. They have a kit where you can do it at home. You can go to the audiologist and have them do it. Or if you're at one of the shows, Ultimate Ears will usually have their scanner set up at the various can jams, things like that, where you can have it done while you're there and save the expense and the time.
Yeah,
But
I had mine done by Tiago at the Headphonium at the home entertainment show this summer, and it carried over to one I bought there, and then this one as well.
Yeah,
okay,
usually
so
one.
go
No,
ahead.
what I was going to say is usually once you have an impression on file like that, it's good for a couple of years. Your ears do change over time, so it's not one of those where it's a one and done, but it lasts long enough that if you wanted to have a couple of different ones made, you can usually do it from one impression.
All right. And I think Ultimate Ears may be the only one who's offering a custom fit wireless model. Is that true right now?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
You can get adapters which turn things into wireless, but there's
Mm.
still a wire going around, so that doesn't really count.
If you're on the custom fit route, it's hard to beat those. So, what do we have next in our top picks?
That's the Sennheiser Momentum 3. That's the high end of that CX line where we started out with a $79 version of it. There's a CX Plus that's kind of a mid-range model. This is the top end of it. I've got one sitting here because I've been playing with it this week. Well, there's a reason. They just now came out with a firmware update that pushes this one further up the food chain. When these released, it was a little disappointing in that there were a couple of things they were missing, which I'm happy to say the firmware has actually addressed. One is the aptX adaptive is now fully active on them. So if you have a source device that's capable of doing that, these are too. So effectively, they're one of the very few wireless that can really do 2496, capable files. They also did some corrections to other things in these in the process. So, a little better ANC, some things like that needed to be addressed in this. So it's nice to see Sennheiser is improving these. They're in that middle category in the 250 range, and they're a very strong contender in that category, particularly with the firmware update. If you haven't done it yet, you should.
All right.
Yeah.
Comes in a couple different colors. So our next model, the Master and Dynamic MW08. I get that right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And this is another luxury model. Comes in a few different colors. What are we
Actually, it
getting?
comes in a lot of different colors. I think there are 9 or 10.
New
Yeah,
colors.
plus-
Yeah. Initially there were 3, I think, but now there's a bunch. Will sent me this, and he sent me the B&W, and I ended up liking the sound better for these, and they're just absolutely gorgeous to look at. Nice ceramic face on it, painted. Yes, you can get different colors, but to me the sound quality was a little bit better than the B&W, but the ANC technology was a little bit behind. I'm okay with that. I was looking more for sound quality. The buttons on top aren't quite as intuitive as the B&W, so the learning curve to me personally was a little bit higher. But then it's nice that it was actual buttons on top, so you're not pushing your finger into your ear trying to activate some switch. So it was a nice function on top. Um, to use instead of having to do that. Fit
Yeah,
wise, even with that odd shape, it fit very well.
yeah, the shape is scares people off, and they actually fit incredibly well, I think. So that's one of those where we can say right up front, don't let the shape of these things scare you or fool you. These actually fit nicely. This is the only one on our list where we had trouble categorizing it. From a sound perspective to Lynn's choice and a build perspective, they probably belong in luxury. From a price tag point, though, they're a little under $300. I think they're right under 300 at 299, somewhere in there. We may see a discount on them around Black Friday. Hadn't heard anything from MD on that yet, but that's not so far out of the realm of the Sennheiser Momentum 3 and the Sony XM4s that this one shouldn't be considered in that mix in that mid grade. So it's a mid-grade price tag and with a lot of luxury features. The case on this is so far better than anybody else's on the market right now. It's not funny with their
I
stainless
think
steel
it's
build.
undervalued and
Yeah,
underappreciated.
Yep.
yeah.
Well, I think you just mentioned the Sonys. These are let me try to
That's
get
the
this
X.
model right.
Yeah,
WF-1000XM4. Did I get
yeah.
that right?
So yeah, you did. Sony, why they did that? The over ear is a WH, the in ear is a WF, but other than that, they both have the same model number, which is a little bit confusing for people. If you absolutely have to have the best ANC on the market, go buy these.
There you go.
With the foam ear or tips and the ANC, these are about as well isolating as any non-custom you're going to get.
And I gotta say the foam, up until probably this model or maybe a couple of cheaper, less expensive ones, putting a foam tip on TWS buds was impossible unless you put it on, put it in, then we take it out, take the tip off because the case did not hold them. Sony was the first high end, I believe, to incorporate and actually come standard with the foam tips so that you could just put them right back in the case and not have to worry about
Mm.
switching tips. The fit of these, to me, is I would rate it as below average because they are big, they're bulky, um, they do kind of angle down a little bit, so I could feel the weight on them. But sound wise and ANC, Will's right. These are the kings. ANC wise, sound wise, they are almost every bit as good as the B&W and the the Master and Dynamics.
All right.
Yeah, and I would point out too that issue with a case is a bigger deal than you think right off, because that's how you charge these. It's not just a matter of storage, it's a matter of a lot of them you could not charge them unless you took the tips off.
Right.
So the redesign
There
on
you go.
this where it would fit the foams is actually a bigger deal than you might suspect.
Are they the only model on our list that has foam tips?
They're the only one on our list that comes with them. There are a lot of
Stock.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I say, Comply makes an awful lot of foam tips that'll fit just about anything anymore. So for those who want a little more isolation, they're available. But the problem, to Lynn's point, may be that sure you can use them, you just can't put the earbuds back in the case to recharge them without having to take them off
Right.
every time.
Right. Well, let's jump into the next model on the list, the final ZE 3000.
3,000. Yep.
But
Yeah.
yeah, you have to understand that Final Audio is a huge name in Japan and developing a bigger name in the rest of the world. And their most popular model to date was the original E3000, which was their wired model, and sold over 1 million of these.
Wow.
There are companies that would be happy to sell over 1 million in total, let alone of one model. So basically, I think what happened is they said, okay, we want to make a wireless version of this. And it was a little bit like the 4-door Jeep when it came out of whoever they handed that project to was, don't screw this up. It's our best seller. And the ZE3000, the whole goal was to wireless the E3000 that had been so popular. And I think that they did it. To put it bluntly, there are a few things about it that would tell you that this is a freshman effort, that there are a couple of things, maybe battery life and some things like that. But sound wise, if you love the original E3000, and there are a lot of people out there who did, for $149, this is a wireless equivalent of it that's actually very good.
And even with that angular shape, the fit is very good. Smaller nozzle allows good insertion and rotation. Usability, the functionality of it, I think, is very good. But the case, it will mention freshman efforts. The case, to me, you could put it on an ice rink and use it as a hockey puck. It is so slick that it's like playing hot potato just to open the lid. So I think that's something they could do. Some of their construction might be average at best, but I think they tried to accommodate better with this. But sound wise, they sound fabulous.
Yeah, I think we have to remember too that it was $149 in-ear. That the construction represents it's mostly polymer and some things like that because of the price. And certainly Final has made things into the $8,000 range that were of really high-end materials. This just is not one of them. This was targeting $150 price point, and for that price, it's actually very good. If, like I said, a little bit bright. If you like the E3000, you'll like this one too.
All right, we're going to go back to a budget model that competes with our first one, the Sennheiser CX. This is the One More Evo.
Yeah, I don't know that it's fair to say this is a super budget model.
Okay, it's not budget. All right.
Well, today, if you go out and buy this, I think it's $149. I think it's $169 with a $20 coupon.
Okay.
One More was nice enough to tell us in advance what it's going to be for Black Friday, though. So we can tell you, we can tell you openly without shame. This one's going to be
right up too.
Yeah, this one's going to be $99.
That's what I had it in mind as to why it was budget.
Yeah, and when I wrote this one up, when I reviewed this one for Acoustics, I wrote it up as being probably the best sub $200 in-ear that was available at the time. And the problem really here was our brackets didn't do it any favors. It was $169, which put it just over that border of our budget of $150 range, and into ranges where it was competing against things that were $300. So the brackets didn't do it any favors there, and at $99, this is a great value.
You've heard the saying, first name on the roster, like for soccer or football or baseball or basketball. Will and I both, this was the first one that we came up with and said, this has to be on the list. I mean, we had tried several $100 ones all the way, to the top and to the budget. This was the first name and first model that came up, and we both went, absolutely. It should be the first name on the list.
All right. Does this one have noise canceling by any chance?
It does. It does. It's a ceramic outside. It's One More's attempt to step up as far as the build quality goes, and it shows. So it's a little better build quality. It's metal, it's ceramic instead of being a lot of polymer. It does have ANC. The app has some good tuning flexibility to it, so you can tune them to your desire. Good connectivity. Overall, it's well done. And like I said, I liked it $169. I like it even better at $99.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I would agree.
And
that's the Edifier 240. That's
Okay.
the other $79 one.
Mm.
And I have it on my desk right now too.
Yep.
And that
That
makes
one's
our
gorgeous.
list because it's the other $79 model. And this one makes the list because of the feature set.
Mm.
This one has every feature that anything else on the list has built in at $79. Now,
Right.
is the ANC quite as good as something like the Sony? No, it's not quite there, but it's $79 instead of $300. You know,
Right.
it has sound quality that's better than you expect to get for the price. It has a broad feature set. The app is good. The ANC is good, not class leading, but good.
Mm.
You know, battery life is at least good enough to get you through a business day without having to worry about recharging it. It does have quick charge where if you need to, you know, plug it in for 15 minutes, supports wireless charging. Like I said, the feature list on this one is ridiculous for the price tag. So that's why it makes the list is, you know, basically if you take every feature anything else had and throw it in one bucket, that's this one.
Right. Well, I think we've wrapped up our list of top true wireless headphones. I know a lot of people are going to ask in the comments, like, why aren't the AirPods or AirPods Pro on this list? And how do you want to address that?
Well, Lynn, you want first crack or you want me to take it?
Sure. I would say that my first comment on that is fit. Um, they don't fit very well in my ears. If you're comfortable with a less than premium fit and you're happy with it, that's what matters. My daughter, her first purchase at college, even though I had given her numerous headphones and TWS, she bought a pair of AirPods. I saw that on the checking account. And I went, "You bought a pair of AirPods?" And I said, "Why?" And she goes, "Because I like them." And I think that's the selling point. Audio quality wise, they to put this politely, they can't match audio companies with this. Um,
Yeah, I think that
might go ahead, Will. Go
no,
ahead.
as I say to Lynn's point, I think in order to parallel what Sennheiser is doing in the CX line that starts out at $80, in the Apple line, you've got to pay for the AirPod Pro 2s where you're into $270. To my mind, the very simple answer is value. That from a value proposition, the AirPods just don't make it. You know, depending on what you're ranking, whether it's ANC, whether it's fit, whether it's function, somebody else beats them in just about every category.